welcome back to what I'm on today. Today we're going to be talking about all the traveling tips that I can give you about shopping in the UE. What to expect and how to get your things back home. Hopefully. Alright, stay tuned to learn more.
Remind me of 12th grade, remind me of young shade, feel like a new shoe, remind me of old games, taste like an ice cold, taste like a mango, feel like some new socks, taste like an angel, she look like a Badu, wrote her a haiku.
Hey y'all, welcome back to what I'm on today. My name is Lakia Chanel and I talk about all things handbags, both luxury and contemporary, because you guys already know that I do not discriminate. So I know that you guys know that I went to Europe, 4 different countries for 2 weeks. I did some great shopping there and I did some amazing luxury shopping. So I wanted to kind of let you guys know what I learned since having that trip. I want to give you guys some information on what I have learned from that experience, because I imagine that some of you guys are going to be shopping abroad, you know, over the next several months or even next year. So I want to give you some things that I have learned, and especially kind of talking a little bit about customs and that sort of thing. When we went, there was a lot of shenanigans weeks before with the airline. So we decided that we were only going to take a carry-on and a personal item for our 2-week vacation. I will link the video up above to show you exactly how we did that. So one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is like how we actually got the stuff back. So our first stop was Lisbon, which we loved so much. Ask me anything about the country, I'm obsessed. And we were staying near like all the luxury stores. So I purchased a lot of things within the first like 3 or 4 days of the trip, because all the eye candy was right there. And so, like I mentioned, we only had our carry-on. Our carry-on had mostly all of our clothes, all of our shoes, all of our toiletry items, and then we both had backpacks. And when we brought the backpacks, we didn't have that much stuff in them, because my idea was like, okay, we'll take the backpacks and then that will be where we put all of our like stuff that we purchase. Backpacks fill up quickly. And you know, when you're buying luxury items, I knew that I wasn't going to keep any of the boxes because they were going to be way too bulky. But by that 3rd day of our trip, we were on our way to Paris. And we decided I had at that time purchased the Pinko bags that I mentioned in my previous video. I had purchased my Prada bag. I had also purchased my Louis Vuitton bag at that point. And then my husband had purchased, maybe he hadn't purchased anything by then. So we end up going to Paris, putting all the stuff in our backpacks, that sort of thing. In Paris, I wasn't keen on shopping in Paris, but I did pick up that Karl Lagerfeld, and he actually found, my husband loves sneakers, so he found a few pair of sneakers that he had really wanted in the US that were sold out, that he was able to get there. So again, we have carry-ons, he has sneakers. So what we ended up doing was we ended up shipping all of our luxury items. I shipped some of my dirty clothes. He shipped some of his shoes that he had purchased while we were in Paris. So we went to the Best Way. Oh my gosh, this was crazy. We had gone to a UPS in Paris. UPS, FedEx is not the same, guys. When we go to UPS and FedEx here, we bring our stuff, we buy a box, they do all the things. There you have to go online, print out a whole entire like UPS thing, and it goes to this like random, you go to the most random place. It could be a locksmith, and that person will have like a ton of like UPS boxes just sitting there, and then you give them your box, they scan it in, and at some point, I don't know what point, at some point there's somebody who picks it up, and then it goes on its way as UPS. I will say, especially specifically for Paris, because that's where we shipped our stuff from. If you're going to be shipping things back to the US, use their post office. Their post office is pretty much the one-stop shop for things, and you can have your things go to UPS or FedEx or whatever through the post office. So we ended up shipping a bunch of stuff. We had a pretty large box, and it cost us a little under $200 to ship all of that stuff. It was kind of expensive, but it was going to be way cheaper than for us to buy another luggage, put it underneath the plane, and potentially have our luggage lost, which at the time that we went, there were so many, thank God we did not have that experience at all. But prior to us going, we were reading in the news and literally everybody was losing their luggage. Like, that was the thing. So we were very keen on not doing that. So it was nerve-wracking. Even though they do give you a tracking number and they let you know what's happening every step of the way, we did not get our package for another like week and a half to 2 weeks. So we were already back in the United States by the time our package actually arrived. And I would say that was very nerve-wracking, because you hear about customs and you hear about just all these things that make you go crazy. But for us, shipping it from Paris, we literally, other than my own nerves, we had no problems. It got there safe and sound. We didn't have any problems with customs. Our stuff probably stayed in customs for, I want to say, 3 or 4 business days, which then had me scared, but it worked out perfectly. It went right along and had no problem. So I would advise, but again, take it as a grain of salt because I only did this one time, if you do have a lot of stuff, that you can go ahead and ship it from whatever country, specifically I have experience with Paris, to your home, and it will get there safe and sound. So that is one thing. The other thing is doing some research about the VAT beforehand. So we were going to a bunch of different countries, and I knew what type of shopping experience I wanted. I knew that we were going to be in Paris for a couple days, but I also knew that I really wanted a experience where I wasn't rushed, where there wasn't like a ton of people, where it was just going to be a smaller, more intimate environment. And so in my head, I knew that I would be doing more shopping in like Lisbon in Germany than I would be doing in Paris. That's just me. But I know that people love the Paris experience. We did go to That's wrong. I'll put it down below. And the shopping looked amazing. We stopped in a couple of stores, but it was a lot of people out there. Researching which countries give the most or best VAT, especially if you're going to multiple countries, I think will help you determine which country that you want to shop into. So, you know, knowing that Germany and Lisbon had the highest VAT, and Paris had a lower VAT, which again, getting any money back and getting a cheaper price in general is great, but I had the option of shopping in multiple countries, so I wanted my dollar to last as long as it could. So for me, it was Lisbon. That was like my favorite. And where we were in Germany, in Berlin, we didn't really get a chance to do a lot of shopping there. And also, I was kind of shopped out by the time that we got to Berlin. Mama had spent enough money by the time we went to Berlin. So I was kind of good. But definitely doing that. Also, guys, knowing that you have to, when you go into the store, make sure that you have your passport with you. That is what is going to help you get the VAT back. So whenever you go into a store, whether it's small or large, you want to tell them like, oh, can I get the VAT back? Can I get my taxes back? And the stores that participate in that will say yes. So mostly all of the large stores, whether it's a Foot Locker or any of the luxury stores, will participate in that. Some of the smaller like mom and pop stores will not participate in the VAT. So just FYI, it's not inclusive of every single store in the country. But make sure that you ask for it. And basically what they do is they take your passport, they enter in, you know, whatever information that they need to enter in, and they will give you a piece of paper that is going to let you know how much VAT you are going to receive back. Another rule of thumb, they're going to ask you, some places will ask you, do you want cash or do you want it to go back on the credit card that you used? Always choose cash. We had chosen cash for mostly all of our purchases with the exception of like 2 purchases, and they were very small. Like our VAT probably was going to be $100 for both of these things. And I have been back for 2 weeks. I still haven't gotten that VAT back on my credit card. But for the ones that I asked for cash back for, all that VAT came back on my card within 24 to 48 hours. So make sure that you choose cash and not credit card, just FYI. Even though it seems like credit card would be easier, you may never get your money back. So I don't know. I'll let you know if I end up getting that money back from the credit card ones. Make sure that before you leave, so basically you'll have all of these papers with your receipts and they'll have your VAT. You're going to have to find the customs department. It'll be customs specific to tax back in the airport. So it'll probably be somewhere that says tax return, and there'll be customs. Basically what you have to do, usually there's a kiosk, sometimes it's a person. If it's a little bit more complicated, you will have to put in your passport, and then when you put in your passport, it kind of knows all of the places that have that you've gotten VAT back from, or that owe you VAT. And then you say yes, or maybe you have to scan in your papers if yours doesn't show you that, the papers that they've provided for you, the various stores, and then you indicate what card you want it in, and then you swipe it, and then boom, within 24 to 48 hours it will be on your card. But the things to remember are that you definitely need to be carrying your passport with you while you're shopping, because they need that to actually create the VAT form. 2, when you get to the airport, you need to make sure that you hit up customs, I guess it's tax return customs, to get all of your pieces validated. When I went, it said that if you didn't have the goods with you, they were not going to validate your customs. However, we had carry-ons, and remember, we shipped all our stuff out, but they didn't ask for anything. They didn't ask to see any goods or anything like that. So just FYI, when you see that, don't be too afraid. They don't care. They just want to see the paperwork, and that's that. And then make sure you do that before you actually get on your final flight to go back to the US. You have to have a ticket that indicates that you are leaving the UE in order to be able to process your refund. So we were going to multiple different places within the UE. And on our second to last trip, I think we were in Germany, I was trying to do it because I was like, all right, we can just do it now so we don't have to worry about it later. And we weren't able to do it because we weren't on our final leg of our trip. So we had to have a return ticket back to the US in order to get our refund. So just FYI. Other things to note, customs. So I had heard so much about like customs and how people were getting stopped and having to pay and having to claim all this stuff, etc. So usually on your final flight back, they will give you a custom sheet and you have to fill out like if you purchased anything, whatever. For your knowledge, anything under $800 you do not have to claim for customs coming back into the US. Anything over $800 you do have to claim. So for us, again, we had already shipped all of our stuff over. On our final plane ride, we did not have any, like the airline did not give us any custom things. So we went through customs, and the customs guy literally just asked if we brought any like, you know, trinkets or anything. And I was like, yeah, we totally brought like trinkets and stuff like that. $200. He didn't ask us anything else. Like, did you buy anything other than like trinkets is what he asked. And I answered the question because we had bought some trinkets. And that was that. We did not get our bags searched or anything like that, you know, when we were going back through customs in the US. However, and again, I think the only bag that I had with me at the time was the Bottega bag, and I was wearing it. And I had on my backpack and our roller luggage. So I don't know if we were just not even looking like anybody that they needed to stop, because we had a backpack. We didn't have our like Louis Vuitton luggage. I don't even got no Louis Vuitton luggage. But you know, we didn't have anything special. So maybe that was, you know, I don't know who's getting targeted for these things and who's not. But I think, you know, if I would have been asked, did you buy any luxury goods? I would have been like, yes, you know, specifically because I imagine that they can see that I got all the VAT back because it's on my passport. But again, I'm not sure. I had no problems going through customs, but I just would be prepared for that. So, you know, if you have big boxes or whatever like that. And then again, I don't remember them. We didn't have any carry-on luggage, so I don't know how it worked for people who had carry-on luggage, but customs was before you went to get your customs was before you went to get your big luggage that you had underneath the plane. So I'm not sure how they would have seen that if you had it in your, you know, in your big luggage. So I don't really know about customs and how it works. I just know that I heard like so many people getting caught by customs and having to pay large sums of money. I'm not sure how that happened, and I really didn't sit down to like read those stories from cover to cover, but that was not our experience literally at all. And I don't know if it's because of, you know, how we looked. We just had a, you know, casual everything. We didn't really have anything, you know, super designer, but who knows, maybe those people didn't either. So that was just our experience. So either way, I feel like I'm rambling a bit now, but I hope that this is a little bit helpful, especially if you are traveling specifically to the UE. If you have any specific questions about anything, bringing things back, finding out how to, you know, how to do the VAT or whatever the case is, then comment below and I'll definitely give you all the information that I have based on my experience. If you are new to this channel, do not forget to like and subscribe. We talk about all things handbags here. And right now we're talking about travel and customs and how to get your things back home. But I make videos every Saturday at 1, and I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you next Saturday at 1.